Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Hello and welcome, or welcome back if you're with us earlier on for the Formula Fords from Willow Springs International Raceway. If you weren't, you missed an absolute cracker. Third place, three cars went for it at the line, side by side, 15 hundredths of a second separating them. And then, the battle for eighth, just 2 thousandths separating the car. And after what we saw last season here in the in the Spec Racer Fords, let alone the Formula Fords in fact, we knew we were in for an absolute barnstormer yet again in the SRFs here on the Weekend Warriors. I'm Tim Cox, Josh Wilkie in the Virtual Production Trailer as always, and Charles Bashaw joining me after the perennial standings update. Let's take a little look with this slightly unusual season where we've missed 2 weeks because of Christmas and New Year. Let's have a look at Spec 1 first of all. And there you go. Jason Green, an unusual name at the top, and many may argue Claudio Gardini in second. It's been a long time since we've seen those names at the top, and certainly Marco Panero down in third, tied on points in fact for third with Sergio Dorelli, although no Dorelli tonight. I can't see his name. I was missing a few of the regulars, so they still have a healthy grid of 48 drivers. Due to the Daytona 24 hours. Jason Perry, the Brits in fifth. It's for Beanie, West Cabanca, Dantas and McCain to round out your top 10. Let's have across into the Spec 2 category now, and it's Phil Berry who leads the way. As always, good morning to you, Phil. 178 points and, well, 33 points exactly ahead of Paul Jackson. So love between those two countries, Britain and Australia. It's like the Ashes all over again. Stephen Healy making it a all Commonwealth top 3 in the championship. Before we've got 2 Americans in the form of Trent Kramer and Caleb Pocock. Lorio, Jusovic, Evans, Brackenby and Viglini going around at the top 10 there. Let's head across now into Masters category, and it's Jorg Marni. He's really owned this category since moving across into it. He's first. Then Chris Murakami, who, well, it was Chris Murakami category before the likes of, Race really got his act together. And Marnie came across into Masters. The race in third, then it's Kurt Nunes. He's not too far off though, still one of the shout in fourth. Bradshaw, Gradwell, Pritchard, Cathcart and Ray. And Brewster rounding out the top 10 there. But Charles, welcome along. 40 minutes of fun, action, thrills and spills ahead of us yet again. And, well, as we said, after was it during the broadcast? It might have even been after. If it's going to be, but as usually, these races are more wild than the Formula Fords, and that was wild in itself. What are we about to expect? I'm not sure I can cope.
Yeah, it's it's just 48 or so of your best friends doing a little racing in the desert. Um, you know, it's basically what we saw in Formula Fours amplified. These cars draft much better than the Formula Fours do. The speeds are a little higher, or actually just a little lower. But then, you throw some bump drafting in as well. These cars will be right up on top of each other. You'll see some nice long trains here and battles on the track. There'll be lots of passing down the straightaways. So yeah, it's, this race last season, we saw just a dramatic finish with, with Overstreet with an undercut coming out of the final corner. To cut back and take it to the inside, and then a netcode contact, which caused I think it was Panero to
well, funnily enough, on board with him right now. Right on cue.
To caused him to hit his incident limit, have to go through a drive-through, which obviously you can't serve on the last lap, so that was a time penalty in the race, dropped him all the way down to like I think 17th or something like that. It's crazy. But I
think it might have been even low. I wanted to say 24th. It was something like, wow, okay, that's wasn't expecting that one.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just going to be wall to wall. Unless something dramatic happens in the mid pack to break these cars up, it's just going to be a huge train as long as they go until they get to the pit stop cycle. And then it's kind of all bets are off because everybody's got their own pit strategy and. So it's going to be a fantastic race to watch. The weekend warriors never ceases to amaze me how close they can race and how close these finishes are week in and week out for the most part. And so I'm looking forward to this one because I think it's going to be a fantastic race.
Our temperature is very similar to what we saw earlier on the Formula Ford, 77 Fahrenheit or freedom units, and as I alluded to earlier on, we have got 25 Celsius, or correct units, as I've now coined them. Marco Panero, top of the timing sheets. But McConnell was top of them for a while. And I don't mean it's disrespectful, but it's shuffled it about a bit. You've got strong performances in there from Chris Montgomery, Spec 2 driver. I think he may be not doing too many officials because I'm sure he's been an iRacing at 2,194 for a little bit of a while now. But also, Josh Justice right up there. He's inside the top 10. Van Bradshaw's in the cracking qualifying. Claudio Gardini's up there. It's all a little bit topsy-turvy, and I absolutely love it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's, as you're looking at them, you see them, they're, three there, just kind of stuck together. And so as you see the 37 car just kind of shoot the gap, Castro. So they, it's a very much of especially the front stretch. It's very much a draft track. You're carrying a lot of speed throughout this course, at least for at least over half of it. Obviously we do have the little technical section around balcony, going in and coming out, and but the rest of it is you're pretty much just on it as hard as you can go and is carrying as much momentum as possible. So it's just one of those. It's going to be this way, and you'll see these little draft trains, and you'll see somebody just get behind and get a good run, and they may pick up a half a second down the front straight, which may catapult them up 10, 12 spots in the qualifying.
Well, who else have we got this shuffled about a little bit? Not too. Dan Wood may be disappointed by 21st a little bit. Jameson Huffman, he's going to be disappointed. There's 3.7k down in 34th in the 111 machine. Also, we've got, other than that, I think we're all pretty much in line with where we should be. I mean, maybe, Christian Kubanka, Electric is, if it's Jim Brewster having a little bit of an excursion there, and may well be. Cabanca, electric in the Formula Fords, not so good in the spec racer Fords, but still a respectable 15th, 17th class for him. As we mentioned, Marnie top qualifying in Masters. Though, yeah, I mean, pit strategy played a large part of the story earlier on, led Aero Nom to victory. I get the feeling, I mean, you said about it during the race, of course, these cars, more air, a bit more aero in them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, only slightly more because there isn't really hardly any of these, and there's certainly none in the Formula Fords. But nonetheless, you could draft in these, aids with the, the fuel conservation a little bit, and I think maybe, just maybe, that might make it even more of as Chris Murakami find the wall. And that's at the same corner which he went up the banking, isn't it? In the Formula Fords, I think it is.
I think it was in the other side of the track. I think it was. I think he came up off the right side and went kind of slid up the hill at balcony and then right back down and across the track and into traffic. And then, of course, had a much more dramatic crash coming through here between through turn 8 and 9 was over, and you see the orange barriers over there. Adam Bradshaw thinking about exploring and decides better of it. So Chris Murakami's first race ended very, very quickly up against the orange barrier there. But yeah, he had a couple of dramatic moments as well. But yeah, it's just, it's going to be the state of this race. It's going to be how much speed can you carry, and if you don't get your apexes right, how far off the track you're going to be, and trying to gather it back up, and how much time will you lose in that process.
There's Jim from Crew Chief, who a regular abuser of myself and many others, says it's apexes and concentrate on the apexes and exits.
That's it.
And it is so true around this circuit. It's all certainly that final corner, isn't it? Turn 9. It's all about the exit for that. It's really definitive earlier on. It's going to be even more so in this one. I mean, interestingly, we saw Yogmani make lots of lunges up the inside into sweep of the penultimate corner. He loved that overtaking move earlier on. We didn't see it last season, last year, in the spec racer Fords. I think it's worth a bit of a shout. Maybe, a bit of an explore, bit of a go.
Honestly, I think we did kind of see it at the end of that race. If I remember correctly, we had, and I don't remember who else was out on the outside, but Pinero took the wide line through 8 and 9. Mm-hmm. Megan Overstreet, I believe Dudu Castro was on the inside, and then Dudu ran out of gas.
Yep.
In those final two corners, Megan, I think, saw that, went wide, managed to get, like I said, a nice cut back in, and just, the netcode contact cost Pinero a chance to win the race. But yeah, it was was it McConnell the other?
I think it might have been.
I was thinking it was either McConnell, but there was another name, and it escaped me.
It was. I mean, it was so wild that and hard to remember. It's just like, what have we just witnessed? But talking of just witnessing, drivers taken to the track. As we've got a little few more to get from. We've built things up to a grid of 50, although not sure Bob Kearns set a time in qualifying, so he's yet to grid up, so not sure whether he'll join us. But let's see, there it is. Watch 911 safety car out on track. Everyone queuing up behind him. Let's have a read through our runners and riders. How are they going to start round 6 of the SRF Weekend Warriors, presented by Ray Esports here on Apex Racing TV. And it's Dudu Castro on pole next to his rival, foe, Marco Pinero. It's always fireworks when you see those two on track together. Row 2. That's another Brazilian behind our pole sitter, Hishiata Vino. He's got a British driver in the form of Bobby West next to him. Then it's Michael McConnell and top qualifier in Spec 2, Chris Montgomery starting from row 3. Row 4, top qualifier in Masters, Ishi Ogmani. He's next to Jason Green. I've got Chris Murakami starting off a little line there of Masters drivers next to Josh Justice squeezing and another Spec 2 driver inside that top 10. Row 6, it's Adam Bradshaw and Antonio Race to make up an all Masters row. Row 7, Trenton Kramer. Well, earlier on in Spec 2 in the Formula Fords, can he repeat it in the SRFs? We'll find out, well, in about 40 minutes time. He starts next to Claudio Gardini. Christian Cabanca, who after a bit of debate earlier on, Filipino flag there. He's next to a fellow Australasian driver, Brad Cathcart. Alan McCain and Curtin Nesbitt at row 9, with the top 20 and row 10 being Phil Berry and Jim Brewster. Dan Wood is next to Jeff Jacobson, 11, while row 12 is Tom Gradwell and Caleb Pocock. Row 13, unlucky for some, let's hope not, for Jameson Huffman and Andrea Favini. Alpha Lorio and Sean Vincent are row 14, while row 15, your top 30 is Andrew Love and Tom Laurie. Stephen Mitchell, got another line of fastest drivers there. On the right side of the grid is next to David Payne, while row 17 is Chris Thorpe and Justin Huffman. Great to have both the Huffmans on board. Joseph Tarantino, no relation to Quinton, is next to Bradford Gould on row 18, while row 19 is Paul Jackson and Scott Russell. Your top 20 top 40 and row 20 is Gary Walball and Paolo Rain. Raj Hansen's next to Mike Newton on 21, while 22 is Stevie Ray and Alex Vanlingham. Michelle Vaglini has Brian Bislanki next to him and not setting times, where Hugo Vraniak and Jeff Horniak are on row 24, while row 25, Charlie Picaro and Bob Kern, although not taking to the start, are Love Fabini and Kern. So it's just down to the 46.
That all?
Just, yeah, I know. Rookie numbers.
So before we get this kicked off here, I did go back and look at last year's standings because it bugged me. It was Thomas Renders was who it was.
Of course it was.
Car in that battle, and it was very close to the line even after all that was going on.
Wow, we're going to see the same thing again. I mean, we're missing half those drivers. No Overstreet, no Renders tonight, but in their place, we've got one Yao Sabino, who's no slouch, or they seems to sort of peter off. He doesn't always have the best of luck in race and sort of falls down through the order. Always really strong qualifying, like Antonio Race used to be like. But I mean, Montgomery can hold his own. He's shown it time and time again. Can he do the same tonight? Jason Green, can never discredit him. Murakami's been there or thereabouts before. It's a plethora of drivers, as always, at the sharp end. Bobby West, he's just come alive.
Yes.
I mention his name, not just because he's British. That does make a big difference, however. But, yeah, he doesn't know what he's doing any different. But, yeah, it's all working out for him.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to throw a couple more names at you. I'm going to throw Trenton Kramer at you, who's starting 13th, and Christian Kabanka, who's starting right behind him. Obviously, Trenton had really good form in the Rennsport series, and obviously had a fantastic race in the Formula 4s just a few minutes ago. So those may be two names that may sneak up on the leaders before it's all said and done.
Well, I think if we could make it through the first couple of laps unscathed, I think that will make a big old difference here today. Just how close and compact that pack is going to be. I mean, quite often, nose to tail, gaps under a second, it's top 28 or more. But here we go. Porsche, I love safety cars in, and Duda Castro does not hang around, but McCain, or was that a netco contact? Someone else off? Three drivers off, in fact. Not sure how that all unfolded, but we're green. We're racing at the sharp end. And Castro did not hang around like Kabanka did earlier on. He got going as soon as the safety car pulled in. And everyone else just trying to make their way through now. It's relatively organised, but Jameson Huffman already, he's up 7. But Stephen Mitchell and Chris Thorpe are up 8 apiece.
Yeah, it's a really, really fantastic start for Mitchell and for Huffman. We've got to get up through balcony for the first time.
Interestingly, Favini and Love have elected to start from the pits. That could have been why, seeing what we saw happen to Dan Wood, Alan McCain, Phil Berry. Those are the drivers that came together in that bizarre incident there, where it just all seemed to just concertina up. There's been an incident involving Kurt Nunes. He's falling now. So is Jim Brewster and Sean Vincent. Bradford Gould just dropping a couple of places there. Stephen Mitchell up an incredible 10 already. We haven't even completed one lap. He's into 21st already. So leaders make their way through the sweeper down towards turn 9 for the first time this evening. And well, that breakaway group, it's a top 16 so far, ending in Brad Cathcart, Tom Gradwell, his fellow countryman, is bringing up the rest of the field in 17th. He's up 6 spots already as they head across the line. Everyone just playing it relatively calm, not showing their cards at the moment. Maybe that's just how it's going to be.
Yeah, maybe so. It seems like that there was enough spread on the front of that group as we get Josh pulling up the replay here. This is the starting incident. Yeah, that's just weird. That's just I'm not really sure what happened there. To be fair, maybe somebody checked up and just the accordion effect took the start there, and we'll get another view of it.
I think it was Dan Wood, I think, who was the one who started it off. Maybe we'll lead Josh to try and siphon through everything and try and pick that one out, exactly how that all worked out, as everyone's just making their way through here on lap 2. Oh well, like Bradshaw just started to break away now through Kabanka and Cathcart, who left in a little group of 2 all by themselves. Still just maintaining a bit of time to Cathcart as well. We've all, amazingly, I'm amazed how cleanly this has pretty much got away here. And still remaining, although interesting, different line from Castro versus Pinero going through that final turn. Castro much more electing for a much more wide line, trying to carry that momentum, whereas Pinero going much tighter. But it's all about Bobby West now. Slingshot on the inside. He's going to pass surely to Bino on the inside. Is he going to do Pinero as well? Down into turn 1. Yes, he is. Oh, there's contact. He's around. Is anyone going to collect it? I think it might be Antonio Race.
Yeah, I think you may be right. Yeah, and we hadn't talked about that yet. Oh, there might have been more there. I think somebody was on the inside that might have got in that as well. But, you know, we talked about them early in the first one. We didn't talk about it this time, as we see Murakami off the track there, coming down out of turn 3, up into balcony side by side with Justice. Justice off the track and I think he managed to just get that slowed up.
He did indeed, Charles.
Yeah.
He did indeed. And he's managed to rejoin with a relative low amount of sort of interruption to the field coming through, and it's crucially without making any contact. That's a more crucial part.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, we did, like I said, we didn't talk about the curbs here, but the curbs, as I mentioned in the first race, are just, they're deadly. They're old school. So you get a nice gradient as you go off the track. It does try and support you a little bit, but if you clear it, basically on the backside of that curb is just a 4-inch riser, and the coming back onto the track is just terrible. It will just make the car bounce, unsettle it, spin it. And so that is the kind of the downside to this old school layout here at Willow Springs.
Well, there's one Marco Pinero out in front now. He's done that before he reached the final turn, Charles. He was ahead of Dudu Castro, and I wonder whether he's seen some of the moves that Marnie was pulling off to great effect on Kabanka earlier on, and had a bit of a go for himself at that one, but again, gutting for Bobby West after such a strong move up the inside and just that tiny bit of contact, getting caught out, banging doors with Pinero. So you'll see it here side by side. He's got a brilliant slingshot at the inside, and there's this contact there. Yeah, you're right, the curbs, isn't it?
Yeah, the curbs. Yeah, it's these curbs, like I said, it's, you know, going off, it's not that bad, but coming back on, it's just, you just almost uncontrollable. You almost have to just kind of ride the curb out and wait till it ends before you can get back on track safely.
Talking about being on track, Stephen Mitchell's dropping like a stone. So yeah, he's come off track, although not had an accident, so that's more crucial. Just merely an off-track excursion, but still will cost you so dearly around this circuit and in this field that is so tightly compact. Here on lap 5, we're about to start now. And they're still far a few gaps of 1 second or maybe 2.
Yeah.
Everyone knows the tail down to 36.
Yeah, this is kind of what you would expect for this race. It's just, like I said, it's a draft track for the most part. Then you have to just kind of work through this section up here around balcony. But yeah, you know, 11 cars within 2.5 seconds up at the front of the field.
Right, is. Oh, I think Josh has managed to find something in the replays, what happened at the start. Let's see if we can try and get some more of a clue. So there's a netcode inside him, and who was that? Was it? It was, I think, from the livery. Was that 90? Right, it was the. Yeah, someone just kept going all the way through everyone. It was netcode that caused it, and I think it may well have been, from my eyes, Gary Walbot potentially. Although he's at 5 spells. Maybe so, no, it would have been Tom Gradwell. Gradwell. Yeah, it was 909 definitely. Bizarre.
Yeah,
Mate, about Australian ping.
Yeah, Australian ping. Saw it. We see it fairly regularly. iRacing does a really good job of trying to keep that keep everybody synced up, but further away you are from the servers, the harder it is to do that, just because of the latency issues involved with online racing.
Well, this group really calmed down, hasn't it? I mean, we've got intriguing battles for me. Other than our top 5 being Spec 1, we've got then Marnie, Montgomery, Murakami, Kramer. Our top 2s in Masters and Spec 2, all sort of interwoven into one another at the moment. That is a really juicy battle that's starting to develop and starting to conjure up the imagination of what that could possibly entail. Josh Justice is dropping off the pace of them. He's 2.6 seconds down the road behind Antonio Race. Justice currently 12 in. There you go. You can just see in the background there what that gap looked like, and here we go. So we've got replay. This is how Panero did it on Castro.
Yep, taking that wide entry into 9. Kind of feathered the throttle a little bit, and yep.
Easy job. There's producer Josh just saying to us in our ears there. No messing. But Castro, he's maintaining that gap quite a bit. Maybe just a slipstream. Do you think fuel strategy playing the part here?
I think so. I think these guys realize, okay, we've survived the initial charge out of the starting blocks. So now let's just settle in. We're about 3 or 4 minutes from the pit window opening, and so most of these guys are going to probably run it for another 20 minutes or so to get to the fuels empty. And so now it's just kind of a cat and mouse game there. It's, okay, what line is he running? Where can I make a move? How much draft can I get going out of 8 and 9 down the front straight? Because you'll see that time where it was a half a second, 0.6. By the time they get down to the end of the front straight, it may only be a tenth or so.
It may only be. It's interesting listening in there. The feathering of the throttle there from Green, just heading through those last 2 corners. And again, he's taking a much wider line and swooping down compared to McConnell, who seems to be taking more of a constant arc through the corner. At the moment, well, clearly making McConnell a little bit slow off the corner, as here comes Marnie through on him. Get himself up into 5th, apologies, and yeah, that's that done. Brad Cathcart into the pits. That's very early. Dan Wood in as well.
Yeah, well, I would think that those guys maybe had damage or something that they're having to get repaired. So they think maybe they can make it from here to the end of the race, which is it's very close. Normally, we would know when the pit window opened because Stevie Ray would be in the pits getting service. He's not there yet. So
yeah, he is. He's literally. He was already in his pit box.
Well, there you go. Well, then the pit window was officially open, and so those guys came in, took their fast repair, and so now they're going to run to the end and just see how much time they can make up.
Now, what a beautiful sight that is.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it? Just nice long draft train.
Not quite as a beautiful sight as what we saw last week at Oran Park and the run down to turn 1 with cars 4, 5 wide. Oh, that was a real sight to stir the senses. Now, obviously we love, someone who plays plenty of overtakes. The Andres Bertoni Award is this become officially unknown as. That's all. Antonio racing. No, he did make contact with Bobby West, as that is Jason Green round the outside. Well, attempted to make round the outside on the outer Bino. Won't get it done. He's into the, well, you would say grass normally. It's more sand and dirt here in the Mojave Desert.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, it made a nice move to the outside, just trying to carry the momentum. Just wasn't able to make that pass work though.
Shame, that would have been spectacular. Antonio Race heading out of the pits. That's incredibly early from him. Maybe just feeling like he can run at a faster pace than these guys can. We'll keep you updated on how that one's progressing. But yeah, it's top to overtakes. I am loving what I am seeing right now on his debut. Hugo Veranek up 19 spots into 28th. I'm started at the back of the grid. Well, last of everyone who actually took to the grid. Bradford Gould also up 19. He's into 17th now. So really, really good opening stages from them as well. Panero having done to him the same move that he did to Castro a few laps ago, but not just Castro getting past, also Castro's fellow countryman, the Altabino, just saying, I'm going to leave a great big gap there, Marco. I'm going to come on through as well.
Yeah, it was a great move, just kind of carrying the speed through there. And you saw Castro hitting the apex perfectly, and you could tell he hit the apex perfectly because he bounced through the apex of turn 9 because of that little dip that's there. So it's very was it Snetterton light, the bomb hole. There's a little dip there, and so it can't unsettle the car, but as long as you're running single file, you can kind of go through there pretty well and not have to worry about maybe taking somebody else out from having the car kick wide.
I've never spotted that on the back of Christopher Cromie's livery. Murakami, I believe it says.
Yeah, Murakami. Yep.
Loving that. I might have to become his new name. On board with our lead inspector, Chris Montgomery. However, due to all the shuffling around, finds himself now demoted to only being in front of Trent and Kramer. These two had an epic battle in the Formula Ford earlier on today, didn't they?
They absolutely did. I was going to say the exact same thing. Those two guys together on track is fireworks. So it's going to be interesting to see if they're going to be content to stay in line and ride in this train, if they're going to try and battle for that top spot in Spec 2.
It's Bradford Gould making up another place. That's 20 now. We're only on lap, well, he's on lap 10. They're about to start lap 11. So that's an average of 2 places. Oh, Kurt Nunes, a bit of a late lunge into the pits there.
Yeah, we didn't have to worry about that. We didn't talk about that very much in the first race, but this is a little sketchy on pit entry and pit exit as well, because it's just basically right beside the track. And so if you take that wide line out there to go into the pits and somebody follows you, if you break a little early, you may end up collecting somebody from the back, and that would be almost not quite a race ender, but definitely will put you on the back foot. So you have to be very careful. And then obviously, the fastest part of the point of the track is right here at the end of the front straight, which is where you're coming out of, basically right as the entry of turn 1.
There's Nunes heading out of pit road. So, sit rep, 15 minutes in, 11 laps completed. Still plenty of battles going on. That's Chris Forber versus Jeff Jacobson. Incredibly tight between those two. Jacobson on the outside line there. Could sweep on through and sweep on down. Yes, he can. Just hard to know where. Look, Arthur Lorio trying to follow his way through as well in similar sort of vein. Up front, Tavino now ahead of Castro as well. Hard to know where. There look so many great battles out on track. Squeeze wise there and out into the gravel. Laurie electing to come into the pits.
Yeah, that's not a bad strategy. I think the last time I drove here, I think I ended up out in the gravel, and I said, you know what, this is a good time to make a pit stop, and just straight on into the pits, out of everybody's way, and so that's as good a job as any, just trying to get through there. It helps slow the car down, so you don't have to brake as hard, and so you won't have to worry about it getting a potential pit speeding entry penalty.
Jefferson Huffman also into the pits in the 111 machine. So this is how we have the change to the lead, and wow, up the inside into turn 1, maybe even before turn 1. Tabino there on driver's left of Castro, done before the corner.
Yeah, pretty straightforward. We'll see a few more of those before this race is over with.
A bit of a mention as well to Castro's former teammate now, who's basically mentioned I saw on social media that he was leaving Texaco by TK and one Gustavo Ariel.
Oh.
Eagle-eyed viewers, Weekend Warrior fans may well have spotted him driving for one Team Redline, no less, in the Daytona 24. I believe sharing the car with Max Verstappen as well.
Wow. I mean, you go from an IndyCar champion to a Formula One champion. I guess that's a nice move. That's probably the only way you can move up in the world, right?
Well, it just needs to collect the set now and just needs a Le Mans champion, and then he's got the. I'm trying to think of the right terminology. It's not a Grand Chelem.
The Triple Crown.
Thank you.
Thank
you. Saved me. Chris Thorpe into the pits. That's going to remove all of his strong progress early on. Bradford Gould still moving up. He's at 21. So is Mike Newton. Hugo Veranek, 24 now, though. He's into 23rd. So he's appearing on the timing tower on the left-hand side of the screen, too. So you can track his progress. Can he make up any more places? Everyone has stopped up at the 2 in the clearing for Vini, who's in 31st. No, he started from the pit, so he hasn't truly stopped. So one Antonio Race, who's in 34th, is the highest of the hitters so far. Although he bailed, mind you, he did have that contact with Bobby West, didn't he? So maybe why he bailed quite so early.
Yeah, that's probably a good shout. We did see watching the timing tower, and Adam Bradshaw got off the track somewhere and lost many positions trying to recover the car and get back on the track.
So everyone heading past Brian Boletsky there for him to go a lap down. He's in 44th position. And he started 46th. Jeff Jacobson now heading into the pit. Quite a few early stoppers here today, Charles.
Yeah,
I know
really
we had that damage, but even so, quite numerous early stoppers.
Yeah, maybe they're thinking that there's enough cars kind of in the back of the field that they can come in and get their fuel and tires, and then use these cars to draft and maybe leapfrog a few positions here and there.
No, you can't get that done around the outside. Hugo Veranek, he's gonna. If he can keep his car on the inside, the next corner's a left-hander.
Yep.
He could make this move work here on Paolo Brain. Not quite in far enough, but is Brain going to run wide? Still side by side.
Yeah.
Oh, lovely move from the Scandinavian.
Yeah, I think that he just ran wide enough that he had to just kind of check the car up to keep from going off track, and that gave Veranek a chance to make that pass.
26 now into 21st place. Started, as you mentioned, 47th, last of the drivers who started from the actual track itself rather than the pit lane start. 3 wide though behind, although there's clearing a bit of traffic. Yeah, Bobby West, a lap traffic. Oh, this is tricky, isn't it? Because Bobby West knows, well, I'm quicker than these guys, but I don't want to get involved in the battle. I don't want to upset the apple cart. It's hard to know what to do in this sort of situation, but he clears it with great effect. And one of them is going to be hoping they're going to be the lucky driver to get a toe off of West all the way down the front stretch. That, my friends, is going to go to David Payne.
Yeah, just really nice battles all through the field, and I'm still shocked that we've still got 10 cars in that lead pack up front. It's not quite VIR like from last season, but I mean that's still a nice front pack to be watching.
It's not a bad front pack, is it? Normally at this stage of the race, everyone's pretty split out. Not here in the Weekend Warriors, a half race distance. This 40-minute race, as always, Well, as usual, things just go calm for a couple
Mhm.
of laps. Just gives us a chance to think about strategy. I mean, who's going to be the brave one? Who's going to blink first out of this group?
Ooh. I
I
would
mean,
say if I've got a teammate in this pack, I would say we would be talking, trying to coordinate that. Otherwise, it may just be we'll run it till we're out of fuel and then pit, and they'll all pit together. And then it's whoever's brave enough to take the least amount of fuel may end up victorious, or may be the one that runs out of fuel at the end of the race, like what happened last season.
I've just spotted. Oh, he's just dipping it onto the dirt there. That is Trenton Kramer. Well, making moves, throwing shapes out there. He's past Montgomery, he's past Murakami, and he tries to snake his way as well past Michael McConnell. Can't get that one done. I tell you what, I am loving Trenton Kramer and Chris Montgomery tonight. Great battles, mixing it up, well, nearly mixing it up with the front runners earlier on in the Formula Fords, but definitely getting involved and getting stuck in here in the SRFs in this front group.
Yeah, he's absolutely doing a fantastic job. Like I said, we're watching him also in the regular esports series on Tuesday nights, and I think he's been on the podium every week so far that I can recall, or that I've commentated
Wow.
on. So he's having he obviously knows what he's doing inside this car, and he's having a fantastic run. We've seen him going, 3 wide. Yeah, it's fine. It's oh no.
No, not when it
Oh,
ends like
that's
that.
not good.
No.
That's not the way you want to end that one up.
Oh no, there's more. There's going to be more involved here, surely. Oh, it's Antonio Race makes it through where he didn't
Wow.
when Bobby West spun. Slowing and siving his way through. This is on board from Stephen Mitchell's perspective. All right, hold tight, everyone. Wait for this. That's Jim Bruce, that tiny nudge on. I think it was Andrea Vavina. Yes, it was.
Yeah, I think Brewster maybe just got a little too wide, and I don't know if it was net code or contact, but either way, the simulator thought that they had made contact with each other and turned him, and I think I heard somebody say they had a meatball as well. And then just when you're battling that close, that's what's going to happen. You're going to end up picking up some innocent bystanders and all that.
Panero leading for well, actually, hold on. I'm trying to think. We've had so much going on, and we haven't really concentrated on the sharp end of this lead group too much because it's been so exciting elsewhere. So he now leads over Castro and Tabino. He's pretty swapping things around as always. The danger man to watch out for is Jason Green, who's just sat there very casually in fourth, not doing much in the true Jason Green way.
Yeah, it's
doing it on purpose.
Yeah, that's kind of the MO for Jason Green. And well, it's kind of the MO for Marco Panero as well, is get out front, lead as much as you can, and try and win the race. And Jason's like, okay, I'll just kind of sit here in the pack and I'll fuel save as much as I can, and I'll try and shorten my pit stop, and maybe can jump to the front, and he's usually pretty successful at that. So, obviously I think Castro is also one of those that will gamble on fuel as well. Most of the time it works out, sometimes it doesn't. And but yeah, I'm just shout out to Brett Kramer for P6 overall, leading Spec 2, from starting I think 13th. So up 7 positions. He's got ahead of Montgomery, who's kind of still hanging in there, but at the back end of this pack, as we see a car off. That marker.
I think that was Ryan Belinsky. I think he was just getting out of everyone's way there. I mean, this is the thing I love about oh, there you go, Castro through to take the lead there. But it's the thing I love, but it's also the treachery of these shorter circuits that we visit. I mean, we've still got Tsukuba to come.
Oh yeah.
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 Yeah. That's going to be a crazy one.
Well, as I was kind of reviewing the schedule again yesterday, I noticed the next race up, and that's sure to be exciting, to say the least. And that would be Belle Isle.
That's going to be treacherous. So this is how Castro got the lead from Panero. A lot of people loving this line, not only in the Formula Fords, but also here in the Spec Racers. A lot more than they were this time last season when we visited here.
Yeah, you know, it's just there's a couple of lines there through 8 and 9, and it looks like the car works in either line. Obviously, we talked about it earlier with the exit of turn 9 is if you're on the outside line, the track really doesn't support you. But I think these guys do a really good job of kind of feathering the throttle, allowing the nose to kind of set to get corner entry. So yeah, it's just so far we had a couple that have been out in the dirt, but for the most part, everybody's managed to make it through that corner fairly well, and it looks like there's a good place for passing as well.
Blonsky, Tarantino, Wood, Payne, all into pit road. That's what, there you go, there's your answer. Chris Montgomery into the pits. He's the first one to blink as Trenton Kramer. Oh no, surely he can't overtake even more so, but it's that back marker, I think, in amongst them, just disrupting the fun and the chaos as Pinero goes to the lead. Kramer, has he picked up any spots? Oh, it's a little bit tight here. There's Claudio Gardini trying to make some progress as well. Chris Murakami holding on for dear life at the tail end of this group. Has Montgomery gone too soon? That's my only worry.
Yeah, I mean, he's gonna, like I said, he's gonna get back into the pack here. He's gonna end up coming out around about 15th or so, and he's behind Jackson, Tabino, Lareo. So it's gonna be, you know, can he keep his speed up and maybe make those passes, use those guys to draft, and keep his overall lap times as fast as he can make it go. So that's always a gamble, is getting stuck behind the slower car.
You raced for Yatabino, who's, I didn't see him spot, so he came in the lap prior to Montgomery. Spotted him come into the pit, so he's come out in 13th place, so that's your new benchmark. That's, well, there we go.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go, Pinero, Castro, Marnie, side by side, a race down pit road is on here, 3 wide. The slowest 3 wide you're probably ever going to see in iRacing. Let's face it, so scramble to get across into their pit boxes now. Also, who else did that come in? Christian Kabanka, just seeing the distance there, heading down pit road as well. Right, well, Scott Russell comes in too, so... But we're on minute 29 now, so
yeah,
that group up front is still going quite well. As Castro's going to jump on Pinero on pit exit.
And
oh, look who's that sailing by. It's Waniel Sabino who says, see you later, guys.
Yeah, Castro will make that gamble on fuel, so it doesn't surprise me. He short fueled, and now he's going to try to ride that out to the end of the race. Yeah, so it was a little over a half second faster than no, I'm sorry, it was a half second faster than Tabino, but it was second and 1.4 faster than Pinero.
Wow.
And then another second to Monty. So now Green's out front, which is probably not where he wants to be. So may see him in this lap.
Let's find out, Charles. There you go. That's why we pay you the big, but gets it stopped just in time. So that's him, Gardini, Kramer, McConnell, Murakami, and Justice all into pit road. That of the Bradford Gord, who's surely got to pit this lap. I mean, he went very, very long, I want to say, last time out at Oran Park.
Yeah, he did. He really stretched it. You know, based on where we saw Stevie Ray come in around the 8-minute mark, I got to think that this is probably the lap he comes in as well.
Well, there goes Green out. Now, where is everybody else? They've surely got to be coming through with a rapid rate of knots. Keep your eyes peeled. Right-hand side of the screen, there they go. And has Green done enough? Yes, he has. He's going to come out. Can he kill off the momentum? Tabino? No, he can't. He's going to, well, snake his way through, slide his way past, maybe with a bit of bump draft, a bit of assistance there from Duda Castro. But
yes,
Jason Green, he's right in the blender now.
Yeah, he really is. He's trying to hang it out on the outside. Oh, look at that little contact, kind of ghosting into each other there, and Green settles in P3. So now the question is, we know Green's really good about fuel saving, and being pretty precise with his fueling. His was a 10 flat stop. Castro's the lap prior was 9.6. So now you have to wonder, did Castro get it right, or did Castro miss it again for the second season in a row?
Let's find out. Let's find out. 8 minutes to go, folks. Who's going to have it? And it's, well, 3 places on the podium, 4 drivers. It's exactly like it was last season. So that's Alan McCain trying to get out of everyone's way there. Look who's come out together. Trenton Kramer and Chris Montgomery side by side. McCain crawling into pit road there. That's Bradford Goulden. Yeah, you called it right on the 32-minute mark. Well, 32.5 minutes, even longer than anticipated. Montgomery up the inside of Kramer, though, for the lead in Spec 2. Marnie leads Masters. Although, let's have a look. He's got Gardini right with him. Murakami 1.6 seconds behind. Antonio Race on still in third. Didn't quite work out for him that early stop, but that was damaged in forces. Still side by side, still having one go at one another. These two, you'd think they'd be sick of the sight of one another after 40 minutes in Formula Ford, let alone going at it once again here in Spec Racers.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like I'm sure Chris Montgomery is looking in his mirror or now in front and saying, "I'm tired of seeing that face on the front of that guy's car." It's just, but they had a really good battle. It was a Montgomery mistake in the first race that kind of ended that for him. So as long as these guys keep it together, I think they'll be basically stuck together for the last 6.5 minutes of this race or so.
Here we go. Oh, can't quite get down low enough and has to get out of the power there to Jason Green.
I don't know who's that.
That's Tabino.
Wow. Yeah,
Grab
he went
wide and his own
very wide.
equation.
Yeah, that was kind of weird. I kind of wonder if that was induced or that was or on his own. So we'll see.
Well, it would have been on his own because Green and Castro was what we were watching, and they were locked in side by side and just tried to open up that final corner with the late apex.
Just carried, way too much speed. Was all too far out wide, and we talked about the outside of that final corner. It really doesn't support you as much as it does if you're inside on the apex. There's no camber out there, and so he carried wide, got off in the dirt, had to kind of recover the car.
Well, we were trying to fathom out how he did that. There went Jason Green for the lead here at Willow Springs. Well, it's game on now, isn't it?
Yeah,
and tell you what,
he is.
Because what has happened is Tabino has plugged that gap between what was our top 4 of Marnie and Gardini. So now, okay, I mean, Tabino's just on the cusp of being outside of slipstream range, but could bring those two along to the party. We could have a 6-way fight for the victory here today, but we've only got 5 seconds remaining. But I mean, what this group of 3 behind needs desperately is Green, Castro, and Panera to start really scrapping away, get a little bit niggly, because then they'll catch it up in an instant.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what they need. These guys side by side through corners, and as we're seeing here with Castro and Green, the longer they stay side by side through these corners, the easier it's going to be for that second group of 3 to make up the time. You can see it. You can visually see them making up the time as this is occurring, and so the next thing you know, you're going to have 6 up there, and then it's going to get really fun at that point.
It cost them 4 tenths of a second, Charles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's we see it week in and week out.
Well, actually, scrap that, Charles. Make it nearest damn it 8 tenths, maybe even a second, because if we were to look back from Panero right now, we would see Tabino. I mean, if we were sat lower in the car, you'd see mirrors being filled by the Brazilian. We wish for it. We've got it. 6 cars, 3 podium spots.
And I see a lap down car as we see Panero looking outside maybe trying to set up that crossover. And yeah, he's going to stick it on the inside and get to the inside of Castro. Yeah, didn't quite have enough there, but now he's going to get the run down. You see the bump coming out of the corner. There's contact there.
Tabino, because he was so slow off the corner from that shallow line, it allowed Tabino to come onto the attack as Castro twists around with Green. But then he drifted across the track, but Tabino was already alongside nearly. And that could have ended in a massive amount of tears.
Yeah, absolutely. They managed to just keep it on the track, which is good. It's kind of interesting that Monty didn't come and Gardini didn't come along with Tabino, so they're going to need some more help from this front forward to tighten that gap back up.
Well, here you go, Charles. 2 by 2 as we get into the tight, twisty, technical section. You can throw a blanket over them as Tabino lunges right around the outside of Pinheiro, gets stuck into him, but can't carry the momentum. There goes Pinheiro back into third. But it's happened again, Charles. That's now brought exactly how you called it. Marnie back alongside. And Tabino is desperate to get that third place from Pinheiro. They bang doors once again. This could end in tears and the second time as we head down the sweeper.
That's the names that I don't want to be coming up behind me. York Monty would be one of those names. Anybody in this front group, to be fair. Right, as you don't want any of these guys with a chance to pass you down the straightaway at the end of the race, because Monty is not going to leave anything on the table. He's going to run as hard as he can go to try and make that try and get to the front of this field.
Tabino having a little look at Pinheiro, thinks twice about it. We're on the penultimate lap here from Willow Springs on the SRF Weekend Warriors, presented by Race Voice. Wow. I need to take a deep breath, just try and lower my heart rate a little bit here, Charles.
Yeah, it's because we've got one more lap, and that's going to be the one that settles it, for the race. So it's going to be, I think they're just kind of getting prepared, getting their line the way they want it, figuring out where the other guy's going to go. And what move they're thinking about what move they're going to make and where they're going to make it in order to get to the front of this field.
Well, Marco Pinheiro has been favouring much more shallower line through sweeper and turn 9, which compromise this exit. Tabino can just get this one right. It could be okay as Castro moves to the outside of Green defending that inside line. Pinheiro again, electing to just come down that low line, trying to get underneath Castro, can't quite do it. Tabino dummys to his front right corner after, there's so many contacts with Marco Pinheiro. White flag in the air, 1 lap left to go. They're 3 wide across the line. Are they going to make it forward? What's Tabino going to do? He's going to push Castro and try and nudge him back in front. But Pinheiro splits the difference between Green and Castro. There's contact and is around, and Green's gone. Pinheiro's gone. Right, we're down to 4th now. Marnie up into 2nd place. He could even take the lead here, Charles Michel.
Yeah, he's just, he's looking for it. And it's just going to be a battle to see, just stay in it as long as you can. But you've got 2 more cars that are coming up.
Wow. Here we go. That lap traffic could be definitive here.
No.
Rally cross there from Tabino. Marnie's off. Gardini's up into 3rd now. He's up 11 spots and onto the podium. A bruised and battered car there of Tabino. He's going to compromise him on the straightaways. Castro's just walking off into the distance. It's drama, but we didn't think it ended like this, possibly. And what's Gardini? Surely this Gardini holds all the cards now. Tabino's got to be a sitting duck.
Yeah, I think so. I think Gardini's just kind of laying in wait here. But, they've just a second gap up to Castro. I don't know they can get that kind of distance on this front straight.
I think the line's going to come up too soon. So Castro's going to take the victory. I think Gardini, is he too far back? I think he's going to pull out late. He's going to try and make a lunge for the line, but it's not going to be enough. But even so, Claudio Gardini finishes 3rd. Right, what's happening? I don't know what's happened in Spec 2, but Josh Justice leads.
Yeah.
And he wins.
and he wins. And yeah, Montgomery in 10th finishes second, Spec 2. Kramer's down to 14th and into the pits. So I don't know what's going on there. So maybe some contact. I know those guys were racing pretty tight.
Right.
There we go.
They got caught up with the Panero incident and green incident.
Wow, that's just that, and that's part of this racing. When you're in these draft packs, once again, it's the you get caught up in somebody else's mess and ends up costing Kramer and Montgomery probably a win in that class, or at least a potential for it.
Payne and Mitchell 300ths of a second apart. Vincent and Laurie 400ths of a second apart across the line. I mean, apologies for not catching it, guys. It's just been so crazy. And Tabino beat Gardini by 300ths of a second at the line. So, right, now we'll get to see exactly how it all unfolded.
Yeah.
Right, so we know about that contact there between Green. I think that may have been Green's fault. So, right, look in the background. There comes Panera across. There we go. Josh is too excited there, our producer, on the buttons. Right, is there a bit of contact? Oh, it's from Castro, who had the first bit of contact. Right, now look into the background of what happens. Panero's, and it's just off a camera shot on my view.
Yeah, I can't see it either. While we're getting this, I'm gonna quiz you. Don't look at your screen. Who had the highest gain of the race?
I don't know. I genuinely.
How about our league organizer, Stevie Ray?
He is, he's at 21, isn't he? I was thinking, I was going to say Veranek maybe. But yeah, he an honourable 20. Let's face it, is not shabby. Sure. Many iRacing officials don't even have 20 cars in it.
For real.
Well, clearly the massive undercut beneficial today. Paolo Brame up 19. Wow. Right, Josh thinks he's found it. He's got it. We've got faith in him. Let's see what. Right, it's blinking at my end. I trust you for this one, Charles.
Yep. Side by side, and it's Castro on the curb, kind of kicks him over into Panero, into green, and then Panero on the rejoin takes out both Montgomery and Kramer. Oh. Wow.
Should we have a look at some results?
Yeah.
I think I'm going to need a stiff drink after this one. So here's your confirmation. Dudu Castro, your winner. Tabino and Claudio Gardini picking up the third place. Absolutely love it. Not the usual Swiss driver we're used to seeing on the podium, but hats off to him. And he's so close to getting second as well. Yulmani, winner in Masters, 4th overall. Jason, look at that, 2 Brazilians and 2 Swiss drivers, making it the top 4. Jason Green, in the end, having to settle for 5th. At Kabanka, up to 6th then. McConnell, 7th. Murakami, 2nd in Masters. Justice, as we said, taking that Spec 2 victory. I mean, I don't think anyone quite expected seeing that one happen. Though, disrespect Josh. Montgomery, 2nd in Spec 2. There's Wood. Brad Cathcart's going to round out that Masters podium in 12th overall. Then Sean Vincent completing the Spec 2 podium. Congratulations to him. First one ever for him. So, yeah, and only joined this, I think it's only about his 2nd race as well. So, excellent stuff for him. Tom Laurie, 14th. There's Pocock, Laurier, Justin Huffman, Jeff Jacobson, 18th. Then in 19th, we've got Trenton Andrea Favini, Paolo Brame, Stevie Ray with 21st. Then Payne, Mitchell, Warbolt, Race, Veranek, who He was up the 20, as said, with Ray up 21. Great stuff from them. Andrew Love, 27th. Tom Bradwell with Jackson and Bradshaw running out the top 30. Marco Panero, 31st in the end. Didn't expect to see that one. Tarantino, 32nd. Kramer, another victim of it all, finishing 33rd, despite looking like he's going to take that victory. Expect to finish well outside the top 10. Then we've got Scott Russell, Mike Newton, Bradford Gould, Vanlingham, Hanson. This last 3 1 lap down. So was Bobby West. I mean, he would have been there or thereabouts if he hadn't had his incident. Chris Thorpe running at your top 40. Then we've got Faglini and McCain 1 lap down each. Then Brian Bolensky 3 laps down into retirements now. Kurt Nunes, we lost on lap 18. Horniak and Brewster lap 15. Berry and James and Huffman lap 1. And Bob Kern did not make the start. And let's have a bit of a chat quickly to some of our drivers. Let's speak to our winner here today, Dudu Castro. I mean, Dudu, what a race. The second half, more so, just seemed absolutely wild. Just to give it from your perspective.
It's always tough to race here. It's too much draft. And of course, it's a lot of fuel saving from everyone. So I was switching position with Marco most of the time. So I was trying to save and coasting the last turn and on the turn before the hill too, as much as I could to do a good pit, because I was afraid the guy come out of pit in front of myself. But at the end of the day, we probably saved the same fuel, and then we came out together. Jason came out together too. I think Tubino did a good pit, but we could catch him. And at the end, it was a race incident. You know, I was inside trying to avoid hit Marco. My car just hit the inside curb, and then I went a bit wide and hit him, and he hit Jason. So I feel so bad to him like that. It's not my intention, but I tried to avoid everything. But it is what it is. That's what happened at the end.
We were a little bit worried. You had the shortest stop out of anyone in that top group. And we were wondering whether history was going to repeat itself from last time we came to Willow Springs and you short-fueled and ran out of fuel on the run to the line. But, I mean, you seem to have got absolutely spot on here today. Were you able to fuel save in that last lap at all to make it home, or were you going to make it home comfortably?
Well, the story almost happened because after I ended the last turn, when I entered on the straight, I started fail my fuel, so low pressure. So but for my luckiness this time, and nobody was behind me, and I could end at the end at the first. But yeah, this time was different than the last time.
Definitely. A bit of redemption maybe for last time, and well, congratulations on the victory here today.
Thank you, sir.
No worries. Dudu Castro, your winner here today from Willow Springs. Charles, who would you like, Josh Justice or Jorg Marni?
Oh, I think I'll pick York. I think we'll talk to Jorg Marni, our Masters winner. P4 was in contention for the overall podium. It was kind of a race of two halves there, Jorg. The first half of the race was pretty tame in comparison to what we've seen before. But then the second half of the race, it really picked up.
Yes, it did. But first of all, yes, I did not mess up my pit entrance.
Yeah, we did see the 3 wide with you and a couple other cars coming into the pits there. So yeah, it was really a great job, and I don't think anybody really had any pit problems as far as I could tell. So talk about that last lap battle coming down to the line.
I mean, I really hoped for that they're gonna be a little bit fighty out front, and what happens as well. And so I tried, the 2 spinning outs, Jason as well. There was an open gap, and I thought, okay, I can do it on the outside. I know the next corner, I can do it. I can stay at the inside of Dudu. I really tried hard. I went out a bit wide there, so I had like a little slow down there, but I still make it up again. I was still at the inside again for the next left-hander, and then I don't know what happened actually. I thought I'm clear, and yes, I lost the corner a little bit there, but don't know what happened then actually.
Yeah, definitely. We just kind of watching the replay as you were talking about it. Definitely looked like there was maybe some netcode contact with the 50 car there, Tabino. So, you know, and then of course you just kind of got off the track, and it's kind of the end of it for you. But yeah, otherwise, pretty good race for your part. Obviously, I know you'd like to have been up there battling for the win, but still, congratulations on the Masters win.
Thank you, Charles. Thank you, everybody else in the chat. And it was a good race. It was fun. It was really fun. Thank you.
Thank you.
And next up, we've got Josh Justice. Well, I mean, when you see the guys in front of you in your class, you know, obviously involved in an instant, not always necessarily the most gratifying way, you know, to win, but, you know, epic qualifying from yourself, and you just showed, you know, why you need to be there just in case something like that does happen.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even realize that, you know, the car in front of me, you know, in class got involved and got wrecked. I would look like trying to see where the debris was, where the car was, what the open path was. So I didn't even realize until after the race was over that I won my class. You know, unfortunate for Chris Montgomery, who got caught up in that. He had more pace during the race. It's kind of a frustrating race for me all around, very eventful. I was able to keep up with the front pack, but after the incident at the beginning of lap 2, I think it was, I got like side by side with somebody who didn't really cooperate when it wanted to turn, and I wound up in the dirt, and about 5 seconds back in the second pack. And we were catching them, but then somebody decided that he wanted to race instead of cooperate. And unfortunately, when that happened, the second pack is no longer able to catch the first pack. He eventually went the dirt, and we started catching him again, but we just kind of ran out of time before the pit stop. We did go from like 5.5 second back to about 4 seconds back. And I was like, okay, you know, we can get there. But unfortunately, the car I was tandeming with was not pitting the same time I did. And then when I pit, I only had tire set. So I wound up changing my front tires, and I didn't mean to do that. So it cost me like 2 seconds in the pit, which wound up probably costing me 3 seconds, or 3 positions in the race, which is unfortunate. But I effectively got all those positions, you know, from the group in front having that big crash. So I still wound up with a top 10 finish, which I think is the best finish I've had in Weekend Warriors overall. And so I guess it's a good finish, but not really the way I would have liked to have had that good of a finish.
Well, I mean, even so, I mean, congratulations, my friend. I mean, a stunning result. Winning class, 9th overall as well. A real nice chunky haul of points to walk away from Willow Springs with. Congratulations.
Yeah, it's a good track. I actually like the track. I know a lot of people complain about it. I think the trick is you really gotta find your braking marker for that final turn. There's like a bit of fuel in the track that you can use as your reference, because there are no actual brake markers for that turn like there are on a lot of other tracks. And I think that's part of the reason people don't like it. It's very, very hard to sort of identify where you need to go and where you need to brake and where you need to turn in. But once you find those spots, it's a really fun track, especially that final turn. When you nail it just right, you come shooting off that straightaway like 5 miles an hour faster than the car in front of you. It's just so much fun.
Well, I mean, congratulations, mate. Absolutely epic. Apologies to cut you short. I've just spotted what the time is. We're massively over time. But no, congratulations. Our 4th different winner this season in Spec 2, Josh Justice.
Thank you.
Well, that is all we have got time for from Willow Springs. Interesting, another stat for you. Your Marnie, 4 wins this season. Won every round, including the 3rd overall. absolutely dominant there. But yes, 4 different winners in Spec 1, 4 different winners in Spec 2. And by my, I think, calculations, we're off to Tsukuba next. I mean, different track, back across the globe. And, wow, that could be a little bit harder.
Definitely going to be a much tighter, much shorter track. So yeah, it's a different type of driving than what we've experienced the last couple of weeks. But you know, you have to deal with it, and you have to prepare for it. And so it's going to be, you know, they're always good races, right? So we always say, you know, we're really interested to see it, and they always exceed expectations.
Definitely, most certainly indeed. That's all we've got time for from myself, Tim Cox, Charles Bashal, and Josh Wilkie. We'll see you in a week's time when the SRF Weekend Warriors, presented by Rennsport, returns here to Apex Racing TV. Good night.
Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.